relatively at the same time. Um, I got everything good. You know, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, and I'm on Twitch. And so I got all these cameras looking at me at the exact same time. What's going on, Island Kid? One of my biggest funds, man. How are you doing? I probably should not have done that, but what's going on, bro? I love when you tune into my lives. Great concept. Glad having you there. Anyway, so I have been taking a bunch of hiatus. I know I'm not even going to talk about my absence. You know, I've been talking about my absence every time I come back because every time I'm back, it's after an absence. And so now it's just like I feel like I'm going to be just doing a lot better. It's the end of the month. A lot of things have been automated. Yeah, everything, most of the stuff that I'm supposed to be doing has been automated by this particular point, right? And so I've really decided to take it on myself to bring as much value and content as I can. And I'm doing that by like hosting these little mini series or mini shows about business development. And as a virtual assistant, I think one of the best things that I can do, or one of the most important aspects that I can bring for helping small businesses like you guys, is you can't really hear good. So, what I think one of the best things that I can do in terms of helping support small business owners is provide um, like a business development, if you will. And so I've grown my business to where it's at right now. I've helped other people, and my thing is I've been really a key internal part in a lot of other businesses as an employee, though. And so being in the office, if you will, I have taken on the skill of business development. And I really am just kind of realizing that particular thing, right? So, business development, for those that don't know, business development is the development of your business in short terms. It's really like one of those things that if you say it backwards, it should explain what it is. But what does it mean to really develop your business? It means to improve, to have progress, or move in a positive direction for, let's just say, like sales. So if you had $1,000 in sales and you wanted to get to 5,000, a business development coach would help you get there, right? Or if you were working 100 hours a week because you couldn't automate any of your processes, right? And you didn't know where to start. If you had a business coach, that would help you. And so what I do with business development, especially like as a virtual assistant, or even like at this point, I'm not even a virtual assistant really. I'm I mean, I am a virtual assistant, but I'm the owner of the business as well. And so being a virtual assistant really is, let me just move that over right there. Being a virtual assistant really is slightly different than like me as like the CEO, because me as the virtual assistant, how I am is I'm focused. I just have to get whatever the client needs for me to get done. But as a business owner, as the CEO, it's slightly different. And the reason it's slightly different is because I have all of these other things to focus on. Like I have to focus on my own marketing, I have to focus on my own email and my own follow-ups. And so as a small business owner, especially in this particular, serving other small businesses, it's my job to make sure other businesses are organized and running smoothly, and that, their office stuff is taken care of. And at the same time, we have that same issue, not issue, but it's my job to make sure that my company doesn't have those issues. So we are the first example. If my company can't necessarily run smoothly, it's hard to get other people's company to run smoothly. So what I try to do is I try to bring my experience from, helping all of these other small business owners, and, doing my own entrepreneurship and everything of that nature to really grow my business as well as other people's. And so I'm doing like these little mini series or shows or whenever I'm really going live. My goal is to bring value. And so I decided that like black people just need to do better business. Like for the people that are doing business already. Now I know that kind of was like a shocker of a statement kind of thing, but for the people that are already doing business, for the aspiring business owners, that's who I'm focusing on and talking to right now. So if you're not an aspiring entrepreneur, if you're not an aspiring business owner, this doesn't necessarily count for you at all. Not even necessarily. It just doesn't count for you at all if you're not trying to be an entrepreneur or a business owner or anything of that particular nature, right? We as a people, as black people, have to do better, as an urban community, have to do better with our business practices and acumen. And this isn't me as some higher than thou kind of business owner. This is me as a customer. This is me as a client. This is me as a virtual assistant helping other businesses and helping your business. This is as a business owner whose job it is to talk to other business owners. Like, that's what I really like most about my job, right? I've always loved businesses and I've always loved being in business. And the biggest thing that I love to do is really talk to other business owners and really get a sense of why they get into business. It's just something I personally like. Like, I can't really explain it. And to say that, like, oh, you just like it because that's your job. No, that's not my job. But it's essentially kind of like my job. But it's something that I chose, right? I chose to do all of this kind of stuff early in life, if you will. Yeah, I have always observed businesses. I've always cared about what other business owners are doing because as someone who wanted to own a business growing up, I don't see how I could get my information from somewhere else. What's good, cold cases? That's just I couldn't fathomly like put my head around something like that. If I wanted to get information, if I wanted to be a business owner, and I wanted to know the path I should take, why would I ask my teacher? Because that just personally didn't make sense to me. Growing up, I said to myself, well, mainly because my dad also instilled that kind of like that teaching in me and everything. But like I did say to myself, I was like, yo, self, you want to be rich and be a millionaire and have nice things, right? So why would I ask my teacher, who's an English professor, who went to school to study English, to teach English to the youth, and doesn't have $1 million? What information could they possibly give me about being a millionaire? That's what I thought. But then I thought to myself, everybody has something to offer. What if my focus wasn't to learn how to be a millionaire from this person, but what if I just sat down to learn, to be a better person, to develop my personal self? Because here's the thing, everybody has something to offer. And so my thing was just finding out what it was that people offer so that I could learn from it. Because one of my biggest skill sets and something that I would love to attribute to my mom, and I know that this may or may not be on the podcast, so thank you, Mom, for this for this little skill. But you don't have to go through what someone else goes through to know that it's either right or wrong. And I think that's a huge thing. Like, you don't have to be the stupid monkey. Hold on, let me put on let me put some music. Because we're still introing and everything. Put on a little bit of music. I didn't even get into the bulk of what I'm really trying to get into, but right. So what we're talking about is development. And so part of my growth has always been learning from other people, right? And learning from other people means not catching a case of the stupid monkey. I'm gonna put on some music while we do this. Some nice some low background. Anyway, so what the stupid monkey syndrome is. What is the stupid monkey syndrome? This is what the stupid monkey syndrome is, right? And I'm sure a lot of you, especially if you're at least 20 years old, have been beaten to death with this story. If not, I'm glad that I'm the person to share the story with you, right? So the stupid monkey syndrome is this. There's a group of monkeys, and then there's a bowl. And in the bowl is a banana. But it's so enclosed that if you put your hand in, you can kind of get your hand in there. But if you make a fist and go to pull your hand out, you can't pull your hand out as a fist. You can slip it in there like this. You can kind of slip it in there. But once you bulk your fist up and no longer have that flexibility, that ability to slide your hand in the same way it went out, it's one of those things. You go in like this, you got to come out just like this. And so what a hunter does is he puts a banana inside of this jar, if you will, this bowl. And so the monkeys all see free banana. I want this banana. This is something that I want. And so they go and they say, you know what? I'm going to go and get it. So they put their hand in and they can't get it out. And for a lot of people, that's the moral of the story. You need to learn to let go of things. But there's another lesson to it because there's a second part to it. So what happens is the monkey gets his hand stuck, can't get out. So what happens? The hunter comes, takes him away. Hunter comes back the next week because he needs another monkey. And so he puts out another glass bowl trap. Now, the monkeys who watch the other monkey get taken are now looking at this bowl, but they're looking at it with a little bit of caution. They're looking and they're thinking to themselves, I think I know what I'm supposed to do. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. Frank the monkey last week, he ain't do it right. He didn't do what you were supposed to do. And so I know what you're supposed to do. So monkey number 2, we're gonna call this monkey Jake the monkey, right? Jake the monkey hops down. He's like, yo, I'm gonna get this banana. Old Franco dude from last week ain't know what he was doing. I got it. So he tries to shake the banana at it. He's like, I'm not gonna put my hand in it because that's how you get stuck. I don't want to get stuck like Franco from last week. So I'm not gonna put my hand inside of it. I'm gonna put my finger in and try and ease the banana out because the banana got in there somehow. So clearly I can, somehow maybe shake the banana out and it will hit the angle of it will drop it out, right? So he's looking at it. The hunter sneaks up behind the monkey, snatches it up. Whoop, 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 done. Boom. You're gone, right? The issue isn't that, oh, you think that you're smarter. It's that you didn't learn the lesson. That's the point. And so in business, a lot of times we see or try to put emphasis on being the smarter monkey. But we don't necessarily think and take the time. Did we learn our lesson? What was the lesson? The lesson in this particular sense is go get your bananas from somewhere else. This is a trap. That's the lesson right here. The primary lesson here is that this is a trap. And so we as people really get this idea where it's like, I don't have to listen to somebody else because I know better, or what I can do is better than what somebody else can do because I just know better, or my circumstances are different, right? And so we really get into this what I'm calling this stupid monkey syndrome. And so I was really young, and that's why I decided to say, you know what? It doesn't make sense to go to my teacher about trying to be rich or be a millionaire about these certain things, but I can go to them about how do I talk to people. How can I be a better writer? How can I be better at math? How can I be better at studying? How can I take whatever skills or what your life lessons were and apply them to my life? And so what I really decided to do was become a student of people. And that's why I love my business, because it's what I love to learn about. And I just love hearing other people's experiences, right? Everyone would like to become an author. Not even everyone would like to become an author, but there are a lot of people that should be authors that don't have the capabilities of being an author. And people think that reading books is the only way to learn. And that's not true, because I'm just going to say it like this. Reading should not be the focal point of what it is that you're trying to do. What's going on, guys? So yeah, as I was saying, reading should not be the focal point of what it is that you're trying to do. The focal point should be education, should be knowledge, should be learning, whether it is from an ebook that you're reading, from a book that you're listening to, a PowerPoint, a speech, a TEDx talk. The point is learning. Because what I would like to ask is, why do they put out such a large emphasis on reading from books? Is it maybe because they know that not everyone has access to proper information, or that everyone doesn't have access to quality books? Yet because of the internet, we now have access to all of these other supplementary informations from people that wrote these books, and yet that's not good enough. So you have to really look at the interest of what the education system is geared towards, right? Because it's really supposed to just be a qualifier. Why does it matter where I got the education from, as long as that I know what I'm doing? especially if it's not a life or death situation. Like if you're not a doctor, if you're not, a lawyer, or someone's life is not in your hands, why does it necessarily matter where you get this information from? It just matters that you should have the information. I would like to presume, right? Reading a book doesn't make you knowledgeable, because if you could, the point of the book is to learn, right? And so if your goal is to learn, how you learn shouldn't necessarily be the point. But for some reason, people put an emphasis on learning from reading. They're like, you should be reading a book a day. You should be reading a book a day. You should be that was fine before the internet. Reading, I don't have time to read. I'm gonna be straight up honest. I don't have time to read a book. Like, give me my Morning Brew article, or give me like the Times, or give me like, Forbes articles or something. But reading a book is not the most important. I will listen to a book. I will listen to a podcast. I'm going to watch something, a bunch of the different, YouTube videos. Like I said, I'm watching the Blitzscaling class on YouTube with Reid Hoffman, co-founder of LinkedIn. And guess what? All of these people, I'm sure, have written books. All of these people that I'm learning from have written books. Yet my education, my learning doesn't take place in the book. And so I would like to implore you guys to not be caught up on the method in which you are educated, but just having the education, seeking out the information that it is that you're looking for. Because a lot of us really aren't looking to the right places to begin with. And so people are saying, oh, read this book, and oh, read this book. But how much of it are you really retaining? You can go back to it. But if you were then able to speak with the author of that book, which would you take? Like, people say they'd rather watch the movie than read the book. So in the sense of trying to learn, and in the sense of trying to gain education, you're going to want to go to the people that know. And so you're going to want to talk to them. And that's just why I really, thank you, Rakeem, good looks. And that is really why I am focused on the educative matter and not where the education comes from, because I like to speak to people. And I like to now, I've been talking and doing this whole rant, which is why I call it the ramblings, right? To bring it full circle, the reason why I say all of this is because we haven't even really gotten into the teaching point. But the reason that I say all of this is because when you're looking for information, when you're looking to do research, when you're looking to help better yourself, don't worry about where you get it. Worry about who is saying it, not where you get it from. Don't worry about if it's from YouTube, or if it's in a classroom, or if it's from Coursera, or if you went to, a master class. Don't worry about any of that part. Focus on the important part. What did you learn, and how are you able to apply that knowledge? Because a lot of us think that we know more or are able to do more than it is actually able to done. The merch is not necessarily available for purchase. This is just like internal work. We don't have merch, if you will. It's literally just like my company uniform. This is my uniform. This is how I show up to work every day. And so, again, coming full circle, I'm just ecstatic to be able to help small business owners. And that's really been my job, because growing up, I've been able to just listen to people and how I can improve business, or just how I can improve my personal development. And I consider myself a business. Are you a businessman, or are you a businessman? So in my personal development and everything, right? How am I best able to improve myself and my business? By listening. Simple as that. Listening. And listening and applying is what the skill of being able to heed other people's life experience. Not being able to, or not having to make the same choices, or not having to live the same path to understand the consequences of certain actions. For example, for those of us that grew up in particular urban neighborhoods and areas, we understand the effects of drugs. You don't need to try it. You don't need to taste it. You don't need to be around it to know how drugs destroy lives. We see it every day. The local homeless person, the local person that asks you for money, right? We know, we don't know their exact story, but we know something along the lines you did something that probably shouldn't have happened. And it could have been during a time that you probably needed the most help, right? You could have been experiencing a deep depression or something. And then instead of, talking with someone that would have listened, or, you tried to talk and someone didn't listen, so you turned to drugs. And that was where the spiral life happened, right? But we don't need to know that, we don't need to try the drug. We don't need to try, heroin to know that this is going to be a devastating kind of effect if I were to try this. And so we should really be able to take that kind of lesson and apply it to a lot of other parts in our life. Like, I understand that me acting like this at work leads to this, or understanding that, me making these decisions, like if I'm going to choose to use my free time with Netflix instead of trying to provide myself with a higher skill. Like, escapism is fine. Escapism is 100% fine. Sometimes we all need it. However, when we choose to only use escapism and not use any type of personal type time for personal development, then that's where there's a problem. Because here's when you hit a certain point, right? People feel that when they turn 18 or when they're like 21 or whatever, that, once you're a full grown adult, you're a full grown adult. Can't nobody tell you jack. But it's come to my attention, a lot of us haven't had the proper training or even had access to the proper resources as children to be, sustainable adults. And so we're going along as children thinking that we know what we're doing. And the only thing that has developed is our age, our maturity, our mindset, our actions have not developed. And so that is what is important and why I'm starting these mini series, right? So going into what I really want to talk about today, right? I talk with a lot of business owners. I talk with a lot of customers. And as CEO of OffSource, it's been my responsibility to improve how we support business owners, because that's the only thing that we do is support business owners. And so I am consistently talking to our owners who are also clients or potential customers, or of that nature. I am consistently talking and trying to find out what is their problem. And that is the best part of my job, because it's all inclusive, right? I love to just be able to talk and learn and listen. And I don't want to have to feel salesy or pressure people into buying. And so providing something that people need, which is the service that we offer, it really allows me to listen to the pain point and provide a solution for that pain point. And I don't think a lot of people do that, because when you're selling a product, right? A lot of people on my Facebook I'm seeing like sell wigs, sell clothes, sell, their branded bags, or sell, hair, or things of that nature. Or if it is a service, they're doing like, say, a lot of things in the beauty and cosmetics industry. And I just want to say, and bring the point to the fact out that I am hearing a lot of negative customer service reviews about the customer experience provided by a lot of business owners in these urban areas and things. I'm just going to even keep it insular to my particular Facebook. I see a lot of people on my Facebook trying to be business people, business owners. And then I see the customers who are also my friends on Facebook complaining about the experience that they have. And so that's why I really want to talk about development of businesses. And this particular one is about the customer experience. And now that I've really talked about a whole bunch of other stuff, I'm really probably going to do a much more in-depth evaluation on how you can improve your customer experience. But for right now, I have some really major, like, crucial tips that I think might be of great value for you guys, right? So when you're trying to improve your customer experience, it's about the customer. It sucks to say, but the customer is always right in the sense of what they want. So if a customer says they want red, right? If you sell lipstick and you're like, we, sell lipstick, and the customers are like, we want red lipstick, and you're like, well, we don't sell red lipstick. You have to go somewhere else. And they're like, no, we want to buy red lipstick from you. Listen to the customer, right? Like, I know a business owner. There was a thought. She had to understand, or she was at the crossroads of, I already make a certain amount of product. Do I need to add a different version of this product? And that version was something that's just very simple, called salt free. Very simple option. But it was a crossroad kind of thing. It's like, should I offer this? I already make a lot of different things, right? I already do like 5 different, products that I'm doing. And so should I make that extra effort in my time? Because, it's something completely different than what I already offer. Not completely different, but it requires an extra step, right? I sell all of these products, and now these customers want this product to be a certain way. Why? I don't do it like that. Why should I do it like that? But that's what your customer wants. And so if that's what your customer wants, how can they be wrong? So that salt-free option is added. More people purchase the salt-free option. But had that not happened, those customers wouldn't have came, because they want their things a certain way. And so part of improving your customer experience is to listen to your customer. I'll give you my own personal advice. We were dealing with one of our biggest clients back earlier in the middle of 2020, right? For those of you that follow, all of my dealings and everything that's been going on, it was the juice lady, right? And so my biggest issue at the time was I didn't have enough time to do everything, and I was doing everything absolutely by myself. So between like actually doing DoorDash, going to meetings, trying to get clients, and then having to fulfill the client work, something was dropping. And based on the importance of how things were, at least at the time, things dropped in a particular way, right? So this is what I'm talking about. I can't slack on DoorDash. DoorDash is how the bills are getting met right now. So that has to take a high priority in terms of time usage. Another high priority time usage, making sure the business gets taken off. So I have to spend a lot of time like doing advertising, shaking hands, doing talking, doing a whole bunch of other stuff, right? Then I have to make sure I get the clients, get the money, have all these processes in place so that I can handle all of my clients and everything. And then from there, I have to handle the client work. And so guess what took a back burner? Actually handling the client work, because I'm doing all of this other work, and then you get paid from the client. Who wants to do anything after you've already been paid? But that's one of the key things in a service business. Once you get paid, you are then still responsible for providing that work. And so that was where I was falling short, because I'm doing all of this work to get to this point, and then I get paid, and you get this little euphoria feeling, and then you forget the client has to be satisfied, because your goal is to make sure that client comes on every single month. And so where I fell short, where I lacked in my business at the time, was the completion and the status. Are you happy with what you did? You're happy until you actually use the service. And that is actually more toxic to your business than any of the other steps. Unhappy clients are worse than clients that just avoid you. If you have someone that gives a bad testimony, that's worse than someone that just says, no, thank you, this isn't for me. Because the person that says, no, I did not like this, will deter people that actually are going to use it, because they're like, oh, I'm going to give this a try. But nah, I can't really give it a try because all these people said, I don't like you. So this first step in developing your business or improving your customer experience is to listen to your customer and provide a quality service or product. Make sure they're happy. Meet their expectations. So if you say you're going to do 5 hours, do 5 hours. Even if it only takes you 4 hours to complete, go the extra mile. Let them know that it only took you 4 hours to complete and that you did an extra thing for 1 hour. Why? Because that's what you said. And so 5 stars nowadays, like, this is why I'm saying, listen to your customers. Because when you're trying to improve the customer experience, did you know that right now the average 5-star review means you did what you were supposed to do? That's it. Some people, not somebody, most people will give you 5 stars for meeting expectations. So that means if you went to a restaurant and you were trying to think, is this clean? Was the food good? Was I treated respectfully? Did I get good service? And was it timely? Was the food hot? Oh, all of those things are yes, 5-star restaurant. When in reality, 5-star means exceptional. 3 stars should be standard. So 5 stars is exceptional. And when you give what you're supposed to give, that is not exceptional. That is what you are expected and supposed to do. So when you want to improve your customer experience, one, start with a standard. Start with a minimum standard. What should my client get out of this minimally? Did you meet their expectations? And then when you want to improve, then you want to develop and really improve their customer experience, right? Then you want to see how you can blow their minds away. First, how can we meet expectations? Then, how can we blow their minds away? My next really cool, quick business tip, and this will be my last one, right? So, the best way to improve a customer experience is to make it as seamless and as fast and as questionless as possible. So, for example, if you were to order an Uber, the reason people will continue ordering Ubers and Lyfts and ride shares is because the customer experience fits them. Oh, I can go on my phone, so I don't have to, hunker down to a computer. It's mobile. It's great. Next, it's on an app. It moves pretty fast and it's simplified. It automatically puts where I'm at, so I don't have to put a location, and I can automatically put where I'm trying to go. It tells me the price. It's easy to click and find out what and switch between informations. Very good. However, what about your customer experience? Some of us have a little bit clunkier onboardings and things of that nature. Or when a customer pulls up to your website, what's it like for them to order? Are you sending them the tracking? Is it automatic? Do they have to request the tracking from you? Is there a link that they can that automatically goes to their thing for a receipt? How does that all work? And so when you have a business, you have to think about these experiences that the customer is going through. And so I'm constantly looking at ways to update the experiences that my customer has, because as we provide a service, it's all about the experience. They can't be happy with the product, so they have to be happy with the service. And as a service, that's really an experience. And so we're selling, support. That's really what we sell. We sell support. But how do you feel about that support? How does it make you? How do you feel when you have a virtual assistant help you and work gets done? How do you feel when you don't have to actually talk to that virtual assistant and you really just kind of post work up into a project thing and it gets done? So those two things: seamless, fast experiences and listening to your customer. They're always right. I think I did a great job today, guys. So I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow, roughly around the same time, sometime around like that 12 o'clock period. And I absolutely loved it. So I'll be talking to you guys later. Tune in. I'm gonna be dropping the Eventbrite for the webinar event on the 26th of February. It's a absolute free business webinar development event. We're hosting 3 Black women that are going to be panelists on it. So it's actually going to be something that's very extremely helpful and useful. I want everyone to tune in and check it out.